All right, everybody, welcome back to the Wide Eye Sports Podcast. We are here. We are so excited to talk to you guys today about a ton of NFL news that's been going on this week. You got your boy Brenner hosting, as is every week. You got your boy Dalton, got your boy Spoon, and we got Riley all joining the show this week. We're stoked. We have a lot to go over. We have potential free agents. We have cap casualty potential. We have a huge rapid fire segment, and we got another mock draft to look at this week. So we're going to get right into things. How y'all doing? How's your week been? How's everybody's week been? Everybody been doing good?
Decent. Yeah, not too bad.
We got the combine. We got the combine coming up next week. I'm super pumped for that. I'm a combine nerd, so I will be tuning
That's
in
next
hard. Yeah, the 28th is when that starts.
Do we know what that's gonna be streaming on?
NFL Network. It's always on NFL Network. So it'll be on NFL Network, and it runs through March 6th. It's a full week. They do all the interviews, everything. DBs go a day, O-line go a day. You know, everybody bench 40. I am curious, see, do you guys think quarterbacks will throw at the combine? I don't think we'll see. Well, so what usually ends up happening is quarterbacks that throw at the combine end up getting hurt in their draft stock because they're throwing to receivers that have never played with them before. So their throws look inaccurate, their throws look off. It just doesn't look good to
I think only the quarterbacks who have questions in those areas should perform. Like, I don't think Williams needs to throw.
Yeah, he doesn't need to throw at all.
Guys who struggle with arm strength.
All right, so question then. JJ McCarthy, does he need to throw?
Yes.
Bo Nix, does he need to throw?
No.
Michael Penix, does he need to throw?
No.
No.
All right, okay. Spencer Rattler, does he need to throw?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, we got a lot. We'll get more into the combine next week, with it being, next Tuesday. It'll be the start of the combine when we record this. We'll get it out to you next Wednesday, and then the following week, of course, we'll go over the combine. We'll have tons to talk about. This week, however, we're going to jump right into things with cap situations, and it's kind of all over the board here. We got a lot of AFC and NFC cap casualties. Are you guys cool with starting with the NFC? Everybody cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
All right, cool. So these are just like big names. There's tons more of these. You can look them all up on NFL.com. But I just picked, 5 or 6 from the AFC, 5 or 6 from the NFC to talk about real quick. The Green Bay Packers are currently sitting at like $400,000 in cap room, which is basically $0, not negative, not positive. You need about $5 million to sign your rookies, that kind of thing, and then go out and make free agents. And they have a guy on their team who has been very, very good when he's on the field, and David Bakhtiari, who's due $21 million that can be saved if they cut him. They are also scheduled to pay Kenny Clark $13.3 million. He's getting up there in age. And Aaron Jones, if cut, can save them $17 million. Now, he has restructured in the past, so it's a possibility he restructures, but this is that money that he restructured then. He's due now. So, like, how far is he willing to push that money he's owed down the road? So a lot of big questions in a Green Bay team in which a lot of people think is a very high upside team next year. A lot of key pieces there. The Vikings, we're sitting at $28 million in cap room right now. Harrison Smith, if cut, saves us about $12 million. I have a hanging Harrison Smith signed jersey right over here. He is my second favorite Viking to ever put on the uniform. I would hate to see him not be in Minnesota, but
I think that's the obvious player that
it's a business. There. It hurts. It's a business.
He's just getting old, man.
Yeah.
He's 35.
Tampa Bay, you got Shaq Barrett, saves them only $5 million this year, but next year he saves them almost $30 million against the cap, which would be insane to pay anybody, much less somebody of his caliber. They're already sitting at $41 million in cap room, so they got plenty. Cut it this year, give them a little extra chunk of change this year, bunch next year. Next up is the big team. This team has like 40 players they could cut and make a difference. The New Orleans Saints are currently sitting at negative $81 million. So
Ooh.
I just took Kamara, could save him $12 million if cut. Demario Davis saves $12 million if cut, and Taysom Hill saves another $10 million if cut. So
man, that sucks too. I love watching Taysom Hill just go in there and do
right?
just about a little bit of everything, and I feel like he's like a little bit of a spark that comes off the bench, you know?
Yeah, I agree completely for them. And it was a few years ago he signed that crazy big deal, and we were all like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like this is now the paying the piper part of that deal, and they're not gonna. There's no way they pay him.
No.
A couple more names real quick. You got Quandre Diggs in Seattle. That saves Seattle $11 million. They're at negative $1 million already. Philly sitting around $19 million in cap room. Kevin Bird is due almost $13.5 million they can save if they cut him. So
what are
I
they
expect
saving
both
with
those
Hassan Reddick? Because I've seen multiple things. Hassan Reddick said he doesn't want to leave, but I've seen like other news sources saying that he does want to leave.
I didn't see Hassan's cap number. I just pulled a couple of names.
Got you.
But we can look at Riley Spoon. Somebody want to look that up real quick? We get that information. And then last but not least, we have the Dallas Cowboys. They got a couple free agents coming up, as Spoon and Dalt, I'm sure they know. But
I know who you're gonna say.
A spot they could save some money. Okay, and I don't know if you do. So
wide receiver 2.
It is actually.
Yep.
It is wide receiver 2. Cooks and Gallup both do a chunk of change. They're already at negative 20. Cutting one or both of them could save them a good chunk of that change. So I expect one, if not both, to be gone. For the NFC, that's really it. There's a couple other names in there that you can look up and find, but those were the big ones. And
I mean, cut Michael Gallup. Honestly, I'm fine with Michael Gallup leaving. He was not a difference maker in my opinion.
No, he definitely wasn't last year. I feel like he had a lot of potential, and he broke out, and then he just kind of plateaued. He didn't really ever excel. But
I would prefer that one. I would prefer for them to get rid of Gallup as well.
Yeah, I think Brandon Cooks is a very talented veteran wide receiver, and I think he can only do good for your team as long as it's the right number on the salary cap. So next up, AFC, we're going to start in Cleveland. Cleveland Brown, Nick Chubb, 28 years old, so he's getting close to that, that 30-year-old running back. So you got to look out for that. Second major knee injury with a $16 million cap hit that saves 11 if cut. So they're at negative 20 already, getting older, a lot of wear and tear on those knees. It's just they could keep him, but it's one of those like blinking red lights, like, hey, look over here. So a top 5 running back in the league, potentially going to be a cap casualty. Next up is the LA Chargers. They are $43 million over the cap. Man, they got a lot. They got a lot going on. Both Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are due a lot of money. Bosa's due $36 million. Mack is due $38.5. So both would save a major chunk of change if cut. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both also do over $30 million against the cap. So once again, now that's not the cap savings. That's just what they're due. And there's some dead money in all of those guys. So that was just a big one. So I didn't go as in depth with those, but
I'd probably get rid of Mike Williams there and then draft one of those high wide receivers that they have.
Well, I mean, Keenan Allen's been hurt a lot, and
that's true.
How old is he? Is he 30? Is he 31?
But he still outperformed Mike Williams last year.
Hey, he did. But you get 2 more years out of him max. You could get 4 or 5 more years out of Mike Williams. It's easy to perform when you're getting 15 targets a game like Keenan Allen was.
Yeah.
So
McCoy one of them, draft Rome Odunze, and then they're I think they'd be just fine.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, that too, I guess.
So next up, we got the Bills. I mean, the Bills are just in kind of a shithole cap situation, along with Miami. Both of them are actually. They're both at negative $51 million in cap. The Bills have Tre'Davious White they could cut, Needham Hines, Hardy. All of them save around, the 5 to 10 million mark. So they got plenty of names. They could also move off Diggs They could also move Diggs, which saves them a lot of money because he's due a lot of money, up in the high teens.
Do you guys think Diggs is going to leave?
I do.
I think he won't.
I don't think he'll be a Bill. I don't think he'll be a Buffalo Bill week 1 next season. I don't know where he'll be, but I don't think he's a Buffalo Bill week 1.
You said who, Gabe Davis?
Well, that's perfect.
Stephon Diggs.
Cowboys just need to cut Gallup, and they need to cut Cooks, and then just bring in Diggs as wide receiver.
I hope they bring in Diggs.
That'd be phenomenal.
That would be dangerous. That would be dangerous.
With both Diggs on the Cowboys.
Crazy. I'm sorry if you guys just touched on this. Did you guys talk about Von Miller? Are you talking about Von Miller at all?
No, we have not talked about Von Miller. Von Miller also due.
Yeah, I was about to say he's a huge hit for the cap.
But he also has a lot of dead money, so cutting him won't do as much. They still have to pay him a lot of money.
Oh shit!
So it's a possibility. It's just not a high likelihood. It does get him off the books for next year, so we'll see. Next up, I got Miami. Teron Armstead, Xavier Howard, both save over $18 million in cap room. So a little bit of dead money there, but nowhere near as much as some of the other guys. So
how much are they over the cap right now?
Miami and Buffalo are both negative $51 million.
Yep.
So, how old is Xavier Howard now?
I think he's 30, 31.
Oh, okay.
I think he's getting up there. I don't know. I hope he gets cut because him and Brian Flores are real good buddies. So I would not mind at all him coming up to Minnesota and enjoying some winter wonderland up here. I would love that. I would love to see him in purple next year. But next up is the Denver Broncos. We got kind of a similar situation to the Cowboys with Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick. Both are due over $15 million against the cap. So both would, save a chunk of change. DJ Jones would save them about $10 million against the cap. And Justin Simmons, an all-pro bowl level safety, he clears $18.5 million off the cap, and they're at negative 25. So
that would do just about most of it right there.
that would do most of it right there. So a couple of really good free agent safeties potentially coming up this offseason. Other than that, couple names to end on. J.C. Jackson for the Pats, $14 million cap hit. MVS, he's $12 million if cut. Justin Reed, $10 million if cut for Kansas City. Both key pieces in the Super Bowl, or I should say not key pieces. Justin Reed was. MVS wasn't as much of a key piece. Another big name, former big name anyways, Hunter Renfrow, due $13 million for the Raiders. I could see him being a potential cap casualty. Yep. And that's really all I have for the AFC. There's a couple other names in there, but nothing crazy. I mean, there's just a lot of guys that this year, unfortunately, getting backloaded contracts that are going to be on the chopping block. It's just there's no way to avoid it. And with that, I want to move. Do you guys have any questions about any of that? Anybody got any questions? Because I would like to move over to my other list. And my other list is top potential free agents of 2024. So this week, I just took a look at the offensive side of the ball. So I'll give you some names from each position. So running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, line. And we'll just go over a few thoughts and processes. So we'll start with quarterbacks. Big one, Kirk Cousins. Probably the top free agent quarterback overall, in my opinion. You have Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew, Joe Flacco, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold. And then there's one that we don't know that could potentially be a free agent. These are potential free agents. Some of these guys can get franchise tags. Some of these guys can re-sign still. But Russell Wilson, we don't really know what's going to happen with the Russell Wilson situation. I don't see him going back to Denver. What do you guys think?
I don't see him going back to Denver either, man. There's too much. You're talking about Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously they benched him at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So there's some drama going on there, but if they cut him, then they're gonna have to pay him a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if Denver's going to be willing to pay that much. It's iffy. We don't know. But he at least has to. Wilson is coming out and saying that he expects to be cut by March before his 2025. Yeah, before his 2025 salary becomes guaranteed.
His mansion in Denver is for sale.
Yeah, but Sean Payton hasn't came out and like ruled out not re-signing him or keeping him on this roster at all. So I don't know, man.
What were you saying, Riley?
If Russ hits free agency, who's more desirable, Russ or Kirk?
I mean, personally, Kirk Cousins. I mean,
yeah, of course you'd say that.
Of course you would say that.
I mean,
I think it's interesting.
I think that you're going to get the better quarterback play overall from Kirk Cousins, but I also think that he's getting old.
Yeah,
he could have the injury possibility on against him. So I don't know.
Russ is what, 1 year younger?
Yeah, but he didn't have a bad season last year at all. I don't think he did either.
Kirk was leading the league in almost every major passing statistic.
I would still take Kirk. But Russ, with the injury, I would still take Kirk over Russell Wilson.
Russ still has a Super Bowl win though. He's been there.
But he played with a top 5 all-time defense and Marshawn Lynch in his prime. Yeah. Let's not pretend like Russell Wilson. I could have been the quarterback for that team, and we would have won games.
So let's say if Russ goes to the Steelers, they'll probably make a They can make a playoff run.
They can make a playoff run. Really good. I don't think they have the. I don't think they have the run game to make a Super Bowl run with Russ. I think you need a pocket passing elite quarterback to utilize those weapons in Pittsburgh. But that defense is special and could definitely make a playoff run.
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm the Steelers, I'm paying close attention to what happens to Russell Wilson because they're obviously having quarterback issues, and that's what's causing them to not make a playoff run at all.
Yeah,
they have the defense there, and if I'm looking, I'm paying attention to what goes on. I'm like, okay, if the Broncos don't keep Russ, then I would choose Russ over Justin Fields, which is who.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is looking like they have the best odds right now to land Justin Fields. So I would be paying attention to that.
The amount of hype around Justin Fields and the amount of teams that are looking at him really surprised me.
Yeah, but like I said, the Steelers right now have the highest odds.
Inflated hype. All backdoor inflated hype. Yeah, dude.
Riley,
I think that as we get closer to the combine.
I have heard that they will make it public before the combine. Sometime next week, they will come out and say.
Well, next week is the combine. The combine starts on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what. No, I'm saying sometime before the combine next week. Between now and then,
I think
I would. Teams are going to be so fast to sign him, though.
So here's the thing.
Wait.
Here's the thing with the combine. The combine is treated like there's the legal tampering period, right? Before free agency kicks off next month. It's 3 or 4 days before the free agent window opens that teams can talk to players' agents legally. The combine is widely regarded as the number one illegal tampering spot in the league. So everybody's GM is there. Everybody's head coach is there. You have multiple scouts, multiple coaches. Everybody from every team is in the building. So everybody can discuss and talk. And what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What do you think for this? What do you think for that? So I don't see any news breaking until at least March 7th. I will be shocked. I should say that's wrong. Before March 1st. Before March 1st. Because the February 28th technically does start before, so you could hear something the day of the combine starting, but I would be very shocked if we heard anything definitive prior to the combine because there's so much talking that goes on there. Chicago could be talking on the phone, getting, we might be willing to give a high second, potentially a first, and then they get to the combine and it was all just sweet talk so that they would listen to their real talk. And they're like, actually, we were really thinking a third and a comp third and 25. That's what we were really thinking. But, we'll see where things go. So so much stuff can change between now and then. And the combine is such a heavy part of that. So
I personally think it's going to be a while until we hear anything about Justin Fields. It's probably going to be closer to the NFL draft before anything.
No. That's
what I think.
Well, for the Bears,
it's at the end of April. I mean, it'll probably be
You can't let
beginning of April.
if you're the Bears, you can't let free agency hit. If you let free agency hit
you
and teams
have
start
to trade them
snagging
before
quarterbacks,
free agency.
yeah, teams start snagging. You know, the Falcons get Russ, the Raiders get Kirk. You start snagging quarterback, you're limiting your audience. And now, granted, that does make the Pats, if they want a quarterback, now they're in the draft. Washington, they're in the draft. I don't know.
Pittsburgh. But the thing is that like a lot of these quarterbacks that you listed that are free agents, none of them really stand out besides like Kirk Cousins or Baker. And I assume Baker's going to be signed.
Put some respect on Gardner Minshew's name right the fuck now. That man that man was 1 win away from a playoff run with the fucking Colts. Okay, let's not pretend.
Wrong, but
so
it's just he doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that factor that I think a lot of people are.
I think that's the only thing he does have is that it factor. Like he doesn't have the best arm, he doesn't have the best mobility, but he's got that dog.
But like I don't see a lot of teams going out and trying to sign Ryan Tannehill either.
No,
and he's up there. But like I said, I totally see Tampa Bay bringing back Baker.
Hear me out.
It's only going to leave like 2 guys that are maybe worth a shit.
Yeah. Hear me out. I think from what I've been hearing, there's going to be a lot of talk around Sam Darnold playing in the Shanahan system, having been coached up by Shanahan. I wouldn't be surprised if a team takes a chance on old Sam Darnold to play against a rookie like a Washington. Would not be shocked at all if they signed Sam Darnold to a $15 million 3-year deal, like 15 a year. And let's see what you can do against Drake May. If you can beat Drake May out, we'll start you. So something like that. Or they trade back and take a JJ McCarthy and be like, play against JJ. I don't know. But we're going to move on from quarterbacks to the running back market. And the running back market is second only to the receiver market. Jesus Christ. We have Derrick Henry.
There's a lot.
Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Zeke, Cordero Patterson, Gus Edwards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, Kareem Hunt, J.K. Dobbins, Jerick McKinnon, Antonio Gibson, Zach Moss, and Tony Pollard, all potential free agents. I mean, if this doesn't scream like the modern NFL, like let the big name running back walk, like this is where the NFL's headed, man. Like, how do you have a name like Saquon Barkley scheduled to be a free agent? Like that dude is the best player on the Giants team outside of maybe Dexter Lawrence.
I think. What?
What you gotta say? What you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say with the amount of running backs that are in the draft class, I think you're gonna see a lot of teams let their running backs walk. Other than, Raiders, you got to keep Josh Jacobs. He's lights out. And obviously the Giants are looking to tag Saquon Barkley. Derrick Henry wants to leave. He wants to go somewhere else. We'd love to see him come to the Cowboys. We really need a playmaker. We're missing Zeke really hard.
I don't think you can afford it, man.
Yeah, that's the only problem. I don't think we can afford him at all.
I don't think so either.
I think he ends up in Houston.
Have all
Houston
three
has
of
a
those
lot of money to burn.
maxed out their franchise tag numbers?
No.
Have they all been tagged?
No. I don't think any of them. No, I don't think. I think Saquon's the only one that's even been tagged.
Josh Jacobs was tagged.
Did he get tagged last year?
Yeah, he got tagged last year.
Twice.
He got tagged twice?
Jacobs got tagged.
Saquon should be able to get tagged one more time.
I don't think they'll tag Saquon. I doubt it. That would be like a $18 million cap hit if they tag Saquon, which isn't far off from what he wants in a contract, but I doubt they do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you just Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. Like you have probably the best rusher, pure running back, the last truly great downhill rusher that we've seen, a 2,000-yard guy. Josh Jacobs, one of the best backs in the league, top 3 back over the past 2 seasons. And then Saquon, maybe the most talented running back in the league as far as just pure talent goes. Man, Austin Eckler, a guy who's put up crazy numbers. I mean, this is a crazy. I mean, I don't see a world in which these guys don't end up on a team, but I don't see a world in which anybody pays them what they want.
I mean, I could see a world where, like you said, the Texans, that team really needs a running back, like a good one.
They got money to burn,
and they have $62 million that's just free to use. I could definitely see a world where they sign one of these top 3, or try to sign one of these top 3 guys, being Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Saquon. I don't see I don't see a lot of teams really going for Tony Pollard though, because I mean, after he was kind of exposed last year.
Minneapolis.
You think
I would
so?
love him as a compliment to Ty Chandler. I would love a 1-2 punch there.
Okay.
He's a very good secondary back.
Yeah, I
Wouldn't
would
put
love
him-
to have him
Yeah.
at $5 million a year,
Yeah.
$4 million a year. I'd love to have him at 10 million, 12 million. I'm good. No, thank you. But
You think Chicago would make a run at any of these guys?
Saquon and Eckler, absolutely.
I think they
I
should,
could-
but will they? Who knows?
Yeah, will they? Who knows? But I could.
Yeah.
I
They'll
could
end up
make
making a
it
run at
make
Clyde
sense.
Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they'll do. It's Chicago.
You're
They'll end
probably
up being
right.
we have all this money. What should we do? Saquon's a free agent. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Did you see what he did in college? We should go after that guy.
I know that the
Yeah,
Cowboys are
no kidding.
in the running back market this year. Like I
Yeah.
see that they're obviously like there's been talks with Derrick Henry and whatnot, and I mean if they could clear some cap space, I could definitely see a world where they could try to land one of these top guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to make the room. And
Yeah, they got to make the room.
everybody says the Cap Smith. Eventually, you got to pay the piper. You can push money down the line. It's an option, but you do have to pay up eventually. Was
Like
that
I said, man, I'm just gonna say I'm really gonna be looking at Dak and what he does with his contract. I really, really hope he gives them a lot of room. Who was Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are two names that come to mind. That absolutely took a hit on their salary to bring in good guys.
So Pat has done it so far with the restructuring, but he's still due all of that money. Like he still is slated to get paid all of that money. Brady is the only guy I've ever known that legitimately said when guys were getting paid $30-35 million a year as top end quarterbacks, Tom
He was
Brady
getting
said,
like 15, 18, wasn't he?
He was saying, "I'm good. Give me $20 million, and we'll go spend that 15 on a Ndamukong Suh at the last second to make a Super Bowl run." Like
that was his last year when he went to Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah. So,
I think honestly, he probably also knew that he was going to be getting a broadcaster contract as well. So he's like, I'm getting money. Like I am not worried about money.
Well, and all these quarterbacks have so many endorsement deals and stuff they're doing outside of football now. They really don't need the big contract because they can make up that money on their own.
Doesn't matter. Exactly. All right, next up, we're going to glide through this part. Tight ends. You got Hunter Henry, Dalton Schultz, big name, Gerald Everett, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, Austin Hooper. Couple middle-of-the-road tight ends, but that can definitely help a team out. If you give, the right guy, like a Dalton Schultz to Justin Herbert in LA, he can make the most of that. So there's lots of names out there that can help, but I don't think it's anything world-breaking. Now, the receiver market, however, is crazy. Not as many big names as the running back market, but I feel like it's a lot more even.
It's deeper.
Yeah,
I think,
way
in the wide receiver
deeper.
side. Yeah.
So to start it off, you got Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, DJ Chark, Melcole Hardman, Braxton Berrios, Randall Cobb, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, who the Jaguars can re-sign, but they then have to give their second-round pick to Atlanta if they re-sign him. So that's a big deal. You have Matt Collins, Michael Pittman Jr. is slated to be a free agent. Huge one for Indy. Quez Watkins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, KJ Osborne, former first-round pick Jalen Reagor, who hasn't had quite the career people thought he would, but nonetheless a big name. River Craycraft, Gabe Davis, Scotty Miller, Marquise Goodwin, absolute speed, the greatest receiver of all time, Chase Claypool, Noah Brown, and Josh Reynolds.
Yep,
with
Josh Reynolds,
Paris Campbell, and Kendrick Bourne from the Pats. I mean, that is all of those guys are wide receiver 2. A couple of them maybe are wide receiver 3s. There's a few in there, but for the majority, most of those guys could step in and be the wide receiver 2 on most teams. And there's a couple wide receiver 1s. So that is a
absolutely
deep. I mean, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 of those dudes could step into any offense for the most part and be a good wide receiver too. So that's half the league. So that's crazy. And then last but not least, we have O-line. You got Andreas Pete, Cody Whitehair, Dwayne Brown, Kevin Zeitler, Connor Williams, Jonah Williams, Jason Kelsey potentially, and then the big one, Tyron Smith. So
Jason Kelsey's going back to. He's going to be an Eagle again. I don't think.
I don't think he's retiring. Or I think he is retiring. An Eagle. I think he will retire an Eagle. I do not think he'll go somewhere, but he is technically slated to be a free agent. But I think if he comes back, it'll be to Philly. I don't think there's any drama there. So, but I just included him because he's a big name.
For some reason, I thought you said Travis and not Jason. I was like, no, Travis is coming back. Travis already came out and said he was coming back.
If I did say Travis, I apologize. I meant Jason. I don't know if I said.
I think you said Jason. I just heard Kelsey.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, no, I mean, there's lots of big names out there, lots of help, guys that can just be game changers in the trenches. And next week or the week after, haven't really decided yet, but soon enough, we will touch on the defensive side of the ball before free agency starts, and that'll probably be a little more narrowed down because we'll have some post-combine re-signing, some trades potentially even. So we'll see. But we will touch on the defense here soon. I just wanted to start it off with the offensive side of the ball. Anybody got any questions, any comments, any concerns on that? All right, we're going to roll on through here. I have a huge, and I mean huge, rapid fire for you folks today. It makes its return. For months, we have not been doing it just because it's been the playoffs. It's been the back half of the season that we know what's going on. So I just want simple yes or no's. We don't have to elaborate on these. Just one word, quick, one sentence answers. All right. I want everybody's opinions. If you have an opinion, give it. I don't care. First question: will Kirk Cousins re-sign with the Minnesota Vikings? Riley?
I'm going to say no because I think Minnesota needs to commit to a rebuild.
Commit to a rebuild. Okay, Spoon, what do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Dalt?
No, I don't think so either. I think there's a little animosity there, and I think Minnesota is a little hesitant to pull the trigger. They don't want to give him fully guaranteed money. They don't want to give JJ fully guaranteed money. So no.
Cool.
I just think the Vikings are going to draft a quarterback this year.
I think they'll trade for one.
That's more what I was leaning to. They need to hurry up and find their next quarterback.
I so desperately want the Vikings to sell their soul, trade up, get their guy, and re-sign Kirk. I want it so bad. The problem is Kirk's agent is extremely talented at driving up the market. And Kirk is going to have $45 million, $50 million table offers. And the Vikings are going to lay a 37 a year average annual value with 70% guaranteed and say, take it or leave it. And he's probably going to leave it. I see him ending up, if he doesn't end up with us, it'll probably be Atlanta. Or hear me out. This is going to sound crazy. Washington. I think he will go back to Washington.
If Denver doesn't sign Russell, I think he goes to Denver.
That's what I was going to say. I see a world where he could go back to the Broncos as well.
So the number one thing about Kirk Cousins is he is family motivated. His wife's family is from Georgia, so that's an easy place to go to. He lives in Minnesota. He bought a golf course just down the street from his house earlier this year. Like he has a life in Minnesota. And then his family's, like his wife, his kids, that part of his family started in DC. So those are the three big points for Kirk. And I don't think he leaves either of those three areas. It could happen though. All right. Next up, who gets signed first? CeeDee Lamb or JJ? Riley?
I'm going to go CD only because I think JJ's going to hold out for as much money as possible.
Spoon?
Yeah, I'm going to say CD as well.
Dalt?
CeeDee Lamb, baby. He's a Cowboy.
All right. Next up, will the Seattle Seahawks be a 10-win team next year? Spoon?
No.
Riley?
I'm not gonna commit yet. I think it's too soon to tell. I want to see how the offseason shakes out before I.
Full Switzerland over there.
So I'm
full
gonna
Switzerland.
See, I was having the same
full fucking process. Switzerland on the show today. Apparently,
I think it's too soon to tell. If you're putting a gun to my head, I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say yes.
If they keep Geno Smith and they keep a lot of players,
they did. They are keeping Geno. Well, they most likely will. They could dump him. I'm gonna say yes too. I'm gonna say yes. So, next question. How long in years do you think it will take Jim Harbaugh to turn around the Chargers?
2 years.
By turn around, do you mean make the playoffs? Like
playoff team, playoff team, legitimate contender.
Well, with Justin Herbert at quarterback, I mean, I think it'll happen sooner rather than later.
I'm saying next year.
You're saying next year?
So not this year, not like this
coming up season. They'll be a playoff team.
I mean, I thought they were going to be a playoff team last year, but boy, was I wrong. I wouldn't say the first year. I'd probably go with Dalton. Yeah, I'm right there with 2 to 3 years as well.
I was about to say, give him this season, and this season being the coming up season. Give him this season, next season, and then third season he's the head coach. I say they are, but it very well could happen on the second season.
We'll see. We will see.
Because I see a world where he's going to
playoffs in his second year.
Yeah, I can see a world where he's going to try to he's going to fill out his team a little more. Get the players that he wants.
Yeah. All right. Next up, this is a controversial one for one of us. I'm sure it'll be Riley.
Everything you say is controversial.
Are the Bills and the 49ers Super Bowl windows closed?
No, I don't think so. It's another Seahawks thing, depending on who they lose. I mean, if they lose Von Miller, who gives a fuck? He was paid $3 million a tackle. He had 0 sacks. He did nothing. I don't think they're closed. And then same with the 49ers. I think they retain a lot of players. I think Brock Purdy is still very new, very fresh. Still has a little bit to learn. And Kyle Shanahan has proven he can get there. He can get to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but
choke artist, professional choke artist, choking hazards all around with Kyle Shanahan.
If I was choosing one of them, though, I would definitely say the 49ers are closer, like to having a Super Bowl team versus the Bills. But the Bills have a lot of cap space. Obviously, we went over that earlier. They have a lot. They have a lot of cap issues. Yeah, that's
as do the Niners.
Yeah, I said that wrong. They have a lot of cap. They're deep in the cap. I think that they're going to have to cut a lot of players, and I think that's going to hurt them.
Bills have to go through the Chiefs, so that's also you got to think about that for the Super Bowl window.
All right, next up, should just yes or no answers? Should the NFL switch to a cap system in which the cap is positionally based? So you get a $50 or $50 million cap for the quarterback position on your team. So all the quarterbacks, and then you get a $30 cap hit for the running backs and a $25 million cap hit for the tight end. Should the NFL switch from its current situation to that? Yes or no?
No.
Nope.
Riley?
I think only for quarterbacks, yes.
I think they should all around. I think it's just a yes. Just a yes for me. All right. Biggest threat.
Then I'd go yes.
Okay. Biggest threat to Houston in the AFC South. Dalt?
Who's on the AFC South? Jaguars,
Titans,
Colts.
Houston, and Colts.
I'm gonna say Jaguars.
Spoon?
Yeah, I was going to say the Jags as well.
Riley? He's thinking. Or did we lose him? We may have potentially lost Riley.
We might have lost him.
We may have lost Riley here, folks. I'm going to kick him and see if he can rejoin. Kick it. There we go. All right. I got him. So we'll see if he rejoins in a minute. He was frozen. Sorry about that. I'm gonna say that it's actually there is no threat to the. I think every team is on the downturn. I think
you said the biggest threat. You said the biggest threat.
Yeah, I don't think there is a threat. I don't think there's any threat to Houston.
If you had to pick anybody,
I would. That's what I was saying. I would pick the Jags. All right, here's Riley. He's back. Hey, there he is. We got him back. A little laggy, but we got him back. But I would say if I had to gun in my head, it's the Jags. But Riley, who do you think is the biggest threat to Houston in the AFC South?
Man, this is lagging. So, say that again.
Biggest threat to Houston in the AFC South.
I'm gonna say Indy.
Indy? Okay. All right. Fair enough. They got a good situation. We'll see what they do at quarterback, but they got a good situation over there.
Anthony Richardson's coming back, right?
Yep. We'll see.
He looked good before he got injured, man. I'm excited to see how they play.
I love Anthony Richardson. We'll see how he plays. I'm not gonna get too hyped up on him yet. All right. Is Sean Payton fumbling the Denver situation? Yes or no? Spoon.
I definitely think benching Russell Wilson was a mistake.
Just yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. All right, Dalt. Yes or no? Is he fumbling?
Yes.
All right, Riley.
I'm gonna go with yes.
I agree. I think he could do a better job. All right. Now here's a controversial one. I don't know who they would move on for or how they would do it, but this player is on a stacked team, loaded full of talent. And some would say he hasn't quite lived up to the potential around him. Should Philadelphia move on from Jalen Hurts this offseason? Unbiased answers if you can. If you can't, I understand. Dalt, go first. Yes or no?
One more time.
Should the Eagles move on from Jalen Hurts?
Yes, 100%.
It's funny you asked this because I was actually gonna ask the question at the end of this that Chris Sims just came out and said something. I don't know if you guys read it, but he said that the most overrated player in football right now is Jalen Hurts.
He did.
And I was going to ask your guys' opinion on that, but obviously we're already here, and I'm going to say yes, they should move on from him. I do think that he is overrated extremely. I think he had an awesome season 2 years ago, but it's a
hard one because he did play in the Super Bowl and arguably played really well in the Super Bowl, but that team has a Heisman-winning wide receiver, has a true number one NFL wide receiver, the best O-line in football, and pretty damn good offensive coaching. Now, granted, the defense didn't play as well last year, but when you're going to be considered that level of player, you got to win with that talent. I don't know how, that's a whole different thing in and of itself, and we can touch later on that later in a different show. But potentially, I definitely see a world in which they move on from him. But all right, should the next question come up, it is going to be very, very touchy-feely. You guys are not going to like this.
Okay.
Should the Cowboys move on from Dak Prescott?
I was going to let Dalton answer it, but I'm going to say no.
All right. I think they, similar to the Philly situation, I think they should. He's not the guy. He's not the guy to win you a Super Bowl. And if that's the goal, you move on from him. He proved it.
He's been proving it.
He proved he can play at I guess we lost Dalton. All right. It's just me and you now. Just perfect. Duos. We're running duos.
I was going to say, I think that he's proven that he is like an elite quarterback during the regular season, but in the postseason, he's just non-existent.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, that's where you have to be consistent, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
If the Cowboys do anything with him, I feel like he needs to take a pay cut. I think that He's a great quarterback. I think if he was in the Eagles, or if he was playing for the Eagles in Jalen Hurts' position, I think he would have done excellent there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you put the 49ers team that they had around him, put Dak there instead of Brock Purdy, I think Dak would have stepped up and definitely would have made it a better Well, the Super Bowl was already really good, but I think that they would have had a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. But I feel like they're paying him way too much that they could be paying other good players to put around him to really help him out.
Absolutely. I could agree with that. I think we got Dalton back here. Yeah, Dalton's back in here, so we got him on the video feed for those of you watching at home. I definitely agree with that. I don't know who you move to if you move off of Dak, but I think clearly Dak's not the answer in Dallas if you want a Super Bowl quarterback.
I don't know, man. I think he's just like the Justin Fields debate, man. I think he just needs a better coach, a better head coach, somebody who's more aggressive.
See, I feel like that would be the worst thing for him. Mike McCarthy's a more aggressive style of head coach when it comes to passing. And granted, he's done really well, but it doesn't get much more aggressive than McCarthy's offense. So
I'll concede to that.
I don't know. I just don't. He's a top 10, top 15 guy, very similar to a Kirk Cousins, very similar to a Phillip Rivers back in that day. But I just don't know if he's the guy. All right, Dalt. We got a lot of There we go. We got a lot of background noise from Dalt. Dalt's double booked today, so he had to make some kind of flexible moves to make it onto the show today for us. So we appreciate that. Can Bryce Young become a great quarterback? Yes or no?
No, he's a bust.
Oh, Dalt saying bust. Spoon?
I mean, I wouldn't say he's a bust yet.
Just can he become great? Yes or no?
No.
No? Okay. I think he has the potential. All right. Which AFC North team has the brightest future? So Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, or did I say Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
Cincinnati, Baltimore? I did say Pittsburgh?
Yep. Or I'm guessing Cleveland.
Or Cleveland. So you have
Baltimore.
I'm saying brightest future. So from here on.
I mean, Baltimore, man. They were in the AFC Championship.
All right. Baltimore, Spoon.
I'm gonna hop on your bandwagon kind of and say the Browns.
Kevin Stefanski
with Deshaun Watson.
Kevin Stefanski.
It's not really the quarterback situation. Yeah. It's the coaching situation. Because obviously, I know that Deshaun Watson, I think he's overrated. I thought he was overrated from the beginning.
Yeah,
they still brought in Joe Flacco from the couch and made it to the playoffs. So exactly. I feel like I feel like there's a brighter future there.
So these defenses that the Ravens have never last more than a couple years. So I do think next year they'll be good again. The year after that, they may even potentially be really good. But the year after that, they probably won't be as good defensively 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah.
A team I think is going to be really good down the road, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they were able to put together a winning season without their best player on the football field. And with their best player on the football field, their season looks a whole hell of a lot different, in my opinion. So I'm going to go
we both going to choose them as our Super Bowl favorites again.
Yeah, we're both just going to hop right back on the Joe Burrow train. Leaving the station. All right. Quick one here. Top 5 wide receivers, Spoon, go.
Oh, God. In no order. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Those are the 2 easy ones. Man,
and you can do personal talent, all time, whatever you like. All of players currently in the league.
I'm going to be a little biased, and I don't think it's super biased, but I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb. I think that I would pick Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams over him, but I think that he had a great season. CeeDee Lamb, man, dude, I'd probably go AJ Brown, and then for my 5th, man, this is tough because I know there's one that's standing out, and it's Jamar Chase, but I'm just not. I don't know if he deserves that top 5 recognition.
Oh,
I think he's just outside the top 5.
Who you putting your 5 then?
I'm trying to think. I'm going through teams right now, my guy.
All right, Dalt, if you got something to say, go for it.
In no particular order, CD, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase.
I knew I was missing someone. It would be Tyreek. That's who I was going through every single team, every single division.
I was surprised.
I thought you said him. I guess I missed that.
I missed Tyreek. That's what I missed.
So my top five's got a little sleeper in it, I guess. So
okay,
got JJ.
Of course.
You got Tyreek.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna go Jamar Chase at 3, and then I'm gonna go Mike Evans at 4. That dude has turned Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, every quarterback that dude's ever had. He's done nothing but put up 1,000 yards. And then at 5, I'm gonna put Devontae Adams. But all Mike Evans has ever done is produce. That dude is a Hall of Famer. He's got a ring. He's played with the best. He's played with the worst. And he was consistent regardless of who was throwing him the football. Way back in the day, okay? Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, both drafted around the same time. There was a quote from Jameis Winston that he went to Mike Evans and said, I'm thinking that we're going to be on the page of Montana and Rice. And Mike Evans lived up to his side of the bargain. That dude has put up a Hall of Fame level career and played amazing. Now, Jameis Winston obviously has not, but Mike Evans is in my top 5.
There were 2 names. Actually, there were 3 names that just kept popping up in my head, and I was like, no, I'm not saying them. And one of them was Mike Evans. The other one was Amon-Ra St. Brown, which I think he's also a top 10, just outside the top 5.
Absolutely top 10 receiver.
And for some reason, DK just kept popping up in my head.
DK is a top 3 talent at the wide receiver position, but that dude is so fucking lazy. I cannot stand it. Fucking lazy hands. How the fuck are you going to be 6'4", 230, run a 4.3 40 and have lazy fucking hands? God,
I don't know, dude.
Anyway, he's a great player either way, but it just pisses me off.
But top 5, no.
top 5. Not top 5. All right, next up, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
God.
Yeah. So I got Lamar.
Yeah, you go first.
I got Lamar in no particular order. Lamar, Patty Ice. You got Joe Burrow. Yeah, I'm saying it. Josh Allen. And then at my 5, my 5's where I really struggle. I struggle at the 5 spot because there's so many talented quarterbacks and you could go so many directions.
You could go Justin Herbert. You could go Dak Prescott.
Me personally, I go Herb. Herb. Just off pure talent alone. Somewhere our Chiefs insider Steven just passed out because we called Justin Herbert the top 5 quarterback. But it's the truth. He's had atrocious defenses around him, and he still puts up great numbers every time. He plays his heart out. He's just a good quarterback. So anybody else got theirs?
Dalton, you want to go?
Again, in no particular order, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow when he's healthy.
Yeah, all of these are healthy assumptions.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, and Dak Prescott.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Spoon, who you got? It's all on you now.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I love both of them. Those are my top 2, probably. Lamar Jackson.
Over Lamar.
I'm just saying Lamar's my 3rd, probably. I'm probably going in order here. That would be my top 3.
Okay.
And yes, over Lamar. This is where it gets iffy. I'd probably go Joe Burrow, and then you're gonna kill me for my 5th. But I'm going Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I'm always been high. Actually, no, I'm not. I can't put him above Justin Herbert.
Okay, thank God. Thank God.
Actually,
Jared Goff is my 6th. He's my
what?
Flex. Jared Goff is my flex.
Sorry, I love Trevor Lawrence, but yeah, I can't put him above Justin Herbert. Actually, Trevor Lawrence would be in the top 10.
What the fuck? Jared Goff's barely top 15. I'm insulted by that. All right. Anyway, we're moving on.
So Brenner, are you agreeing that you think Aaron Rodgers is probably is he done? Is he a top 10 quarterback
He's a top
still?
10. He's a top 10 still.
But not top 5?
Healthy Aaron Rodgers last time we saw him was a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, so I'm going to continue to believe he is until he shows he isn't.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Next up, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, can the Jets steal the AFC East next year? Yes or no? Spoon?
Yes.
Dolt?
100% yes, they can steal.
All righty.
Last
Last one.
Yes.
Last one. Okay. Is a draft-based question. JJ McCarthy in the past week has went from an early second-round pick to being mocked in the top 10 of several drafts.
I've been seeing
Is
that.
he a top 10 pick? Yes or will he be a top 10 pick? Yes or no? Spoon?
Will he? Probably. Do I think so? No.
Dolt?
I think so. I think he is a top 10 pick for sure. I think he's a top 5. I think he goes in the top 5.
Ballsy. We love it. All right. With that, I want to thank everybody for sticking with us to the end. It's been a long episode. We went over a lot today. So we'll have another episode where we review a mock draft coming out later this week. So make sure to tune into that. Other than that, we will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.